Hello people of the internet, I am not an Englishman, this is not the film directing masterclass, and the video watching right now is Things You Need to Do to Make a Short Film, Part 3 Post-Production. A very long and uncatchy title, I know. In the previous two episodes, I talked about pre and production, and I'm ending the trilogy with a selection of tools that might be useful when you're finishing off your short film. Post-production is basically everything that happens after you yell,
"Okay everybody, that's a wrap,"
on set. So let's begin. There is no post-production without any footage, so you might want to take care of it while you're shooting. I would suggest having all the footage in at least 2 different places, if not 3. Make sure you have reliable hard drives and keep copying everything while you shoot, so if anything goes wrong, you're still on set and can reshoot it. Have one drive on you and have someone else take the other one in case anything happens. I'm not talking plane crashes here, although you never know. But someone might mug you, or you might get wet, or you just forget your bag somewhere, or just anything really. So just keep your data on different, 2 separate locations. Before you start editing or before you give your footage to your editor, sort it. Now this will take a certain amount of time, but I can't tell you how much it really helps the rest of the process. So sort your footage by scenes and takes. Make a folder named Scene 1 and then just copy all the footage that belongs to Scene 1 in it. Also rename all the files so they fit the description, like Scene 1, Take 1, and then just, flip them into folders. Because there's nothing worse for an editor than a bunch of unsorted footage. And also while you're doing this, have the shot list with you so you can check that everything is as it should be and you really have everything, you haven't forgotten anything anywhere. If you know how to edit, you can, of course, edit yourself. If you don't know, you can even teach yourself. Trust me, it's much easier than you might think. Or you can trust your film to someone else's scissors, which I would strongly recommend. It's always better if you get someone else to splice your footage together that has no emotional attachment to it. There's a reason why editors usually don't hang around on sets. It's because they don't want them to get too close to any character or a shot, which becomes priceless when you need to kill your darlings. Now, killing your darlings is a term used when a scene that you really love really doesn't work or support the story and must therefore be thrown out of the film. Also, getting a fresh set of eyes and another brain on your film can hurt, especially since by then you will be so immersed in the film you won't be able to see the whole picture. Some directors actually go and do something completely different for a few weeks just before editing starts so they can kind of reset their head. I won't be talking about editing rules here because that deserves its own chapter. I would encourage you though to look up Walter Murch's Rule of 6. I'll just link in the description as well. Now, editing is kind of like sculpting. You have your block of stone, which is your footage, and then you need to start carving until you get something that looks like something you imagined in the beginning. They say when you're making a film, you always make 3 films. The one you wrote, the one you shot, and the one you edit. And that's very true. It will be different than what you set out to do, but that's okay. That's how you learn, and here's when you truly see that filmmaking is a collaborating process, and everyone who worked on it brought something to it. Plus there's always the weather. Now here's 3 tips for editing if you'll be working with an editor that is not yourself. Number 1, do not, under any circumstances, howsoever, touch the editor's computer screen. Something happens I've been an editor for like 13 years now, and something happens in our minds that make the screen a holy place. So whatever you do, if you need to point at something, just, point like from an inch away or something. Trust me, they'll love you for it. Or hate you if you do touch it. Number 2, the editor is also your teacher. Let editors teach you about filmmaking. They know stuff, they know films, they've seen films, they analyze them, they analyze editing. And if you listen to them, you will learn a lot about pre-production and production, and it will make your life on the next film much easier. Plus they're film geeks as well, so And number 3, trust them. I mean, What's the point of having an editor if you just use them because of their technical knowledge of software? If they insist on something being their way, maybe let them do it. Open your mind and see if that works. Also, no one likes working in a creative process if they don't have any say in it. It's a collaboration, remember? And once you have a film cut down to something that looks at least a bit presentable, show it to people you trust. Show it to your family, show it to your friends, and show it to people who know films and filmmaking, and let them give you feedback. You might get some ideas that you would never think about yourself, like, I don't know, cutting the first 2 scenes completely out of the film, or maybe turning the film around, or putting this scene at the end instead of the beginning. I don't know, it just opens up many possibilities. Keep an open mind and be susceptible to criticism. Sound is pretty high up on the stuff you really want to polish and nail down in film list. There's a really good audio guide made by the Film Loop crew, which I linked in the description and you should definitely check out. Also subscribe to them. I've been an editor for quite a while now and I like to think I know a few things about audio post, but I would always give it to a professional when it comes to film. Bad audio could be that grain that flips the scale at shortlisting you from film festival. And as it's been said countless times, audience will forgive you bad picture, but they will never let you pass with bad sound. It's just impossible to immerse yourself in a story if the sound is shit. So if you're not confident in playing with audio, do spend a bit more money on proper sound treatment. You don't need to go to studios as they will charge more than is sane for a no-budget film. I would suggest going to either freelancers or maybe find someone who works in a studio and is willing to do some moonlighting for you. You never know. This one is a bit out in the open as there's a lot of ways to go about it. One way is getting an account on an online music bank and get music from there. Here I would suggest using Artlist, as when you download the song you get the complete right for it and you can use the song whenever and wherever. You have a friend who's a musician and is willing to make music for you. Perfect! There's a band you like and they're willing to make music for you, or at least give you right for the certain song. Perfect! You can make music yourself. Perfect! You don't really know how to make music, but you want to try and learn it. Perfect! That Katy Perry song fits just so perfectly in that scene where the main character is getting over her ex-lover. Maybe not so perfect. By all means, try and contact any artist whose work you would like to include in your film, no matter if that's your local DJ experimenting with glitch ambience or Bruce Springsteen. You never know, they might like your project and give you the rights. If you don't try, you can't succeed. I just wouldn't suggest this being the only plan. Maybe have a second or even a third one, just in case if, I don't know, Katy Perry has a bad day. There's no sense in making a film if you don't want to show it to anyone. Art is only finished when displayed. So if you want to send your masterpiece to any festivals, make sure you have all the rights. For music, for people appearing in film, especially if there's children, for using the premises you were shooting at, and so on and so forth. Even if your film is an Oscar-worthy piece of celluloid, your application will probably roam to that round folder next to the desk the cleaning lady cleans at least once a week. Even if you only post it on YouTube or Vimeo, and I'm using only rather lightly in this case, you never know when something might go up someone's nose. Besides, it's unfair because you're pretty much stealing someone else's work. So here's a recap to quickly refresh today's lesson. Be careful to always store your footage and have at least 2 backups. Sort your footage by scenes and takes. Love thy editor. Show your edit to people and don't be afraid to kill your darlings. Sound is really important and you shouldn't be afraid to spend a bit more money on it. Make sure you have the rights for music and have backup plans, and make sure you have rights for everything else as well. And thus we conclude the stuff you need to make a short film trilogy. I hope you took anything from this. If you did, click the like button. If you did and you want more, please subscribe, as there's one new video every week. Thanks for watching. Now you should probably stop watching these videos and finally make your goddamn film.